Outdoor environments can be a form of therapy. For one Iowa man, nature played a crucial role in recovering from a tragedy, an incident that wreaked havoc on his family and later his own mind.
The natural beauty surrounding our own Amana Colonies and its calming presence brought serenity, and with it, a new chapter in the life of one outdoor photographer. Among the frosted vegetation and wind-swept trails surrounding the Amana Colonies.
This reminds me of the old days. Well, because I'd be out there on the water. Not the water, but on the lake.
You may find a quiet photographer searching for beauty and discovering outdoor inspiration. Documenting every season of the year, David Heusinkveld frequents this scenic location, recording the simple details of nature, a frozen lily, or a milkweed waving seeds into the frigid air. Lily Lake is where David discovered his photography skills later in life, and where he came to grips with something deeper, and tragically, much darker than a winter's night. David spent 25 years teaching behavior disorder students in Cedar Rapids.
That was tell me, it was a real tough group of people to work with.
You were good, though. You were darn good, and you had the record in the Cedar Rapids district for lasting that long.
His wife, Carol, an Amana Colonies native, shared the region's beauty with her husband, and later their two children, Jordan and Forrest.
It's just a magical place, being around in the colonies. The mill race, or the Iowa River coming through, or the trumpeter swans, or the deer.
That's
summer, winter, it's just all beautiful.
On August 27, 2003, David and Jordan were returning from the Amanas. Along a nearby highway, an F-150 pickup crossed the center line, striking the Heusinkvelds head-on. Oldest son Jordan was killed instantly. David, knocked unconscious on impact and bleeding profusely, faintly recalls the off-duty firefighter that applied a life-saving tourniquet to his left arm.
I almost bled out. I almost bled out. It was really, just within a few minutes, and I would have been gone.
When David finally arrived in Iowa City, it was by life flight helicopter, and following emergency surgery, his life was spared. In an instant, the Heusinkveld family was changed forever.
He was without oxygen for an unknown period of time, and I mean, he did take a blow to the head, but
That was a car accident.
Yeah, it was a car accident, and you had several surgeries on your arm, and that first year was just a total blur and a total mess for all of us, having lost our oldest son, and just David's injuries, and then you did go back to work teaching, but things weren't exactly the same, and looking back now all these years, it's maybe there were some really early subtle signs that nobody caught on to.
Over the ensuing months, family and doctors observed changes in David's mental acuity. Memory lapses, time gaps, and confusion confronted the 25-year teacher who had spent a career in classrooms helping students with their own problems. David would later write, "I struggled with intense grief, sadness, and regret, and I felt miserable. I reluctantly retired from teaching and pondered what to do next."
David's search for answers led him back to Amana and a frozen Lily Lake. Stepping onto the crackling ice, he discovered a new world below and raced to find his camera.
You could just see it, just every little detail of it, which I thought was fantastic.
Lilies frozen in time. It sparked an awakening in David, and he began a new chapter photographing the Amana Colonies. Its farm fields, its landscapes, its creatures. the nearby miles-long mill race, and its very special Lily Lake.
Nobody else was out there looking at them. And the Lily Lake is pretty big. You know, I could walk around the whole thing and get nice pictures, no matter how. I always could get good pictures, it seemed like.
With it no longer safe for David to drive, he ventured out with the help of family friends like John Johnson. He hiked the fields, trails, and countryside of an Iowa landscape best known for its German communal heritage. This newfound passion culminated in a published book, The Amana Landscape. It's a project devoted to the region's history, but more importantly, to hundreds of beautiful images, all taken by David.
It's surprising, but I just feel so proud of David for having done this. And
Well, especially getting up with you know, being a brain injury and being still able to do things is pretty lucky.
David and Carol would later travel to book events in New York, accepting photography awards for a man who never intended fame from a frigid trip to Lily Lake.
It was a blast. Very cool.
when something shuts off, there's something else that's there that can be found and can be turned on, and you can find your way out of the darkness, and often it's through nature.
David had awoken something deep inside that didn't exist before the accident. As the son of a famous photographer, David had grown up in the industry, but chose a different path in education.
She was very surprised about it. And, I don't know if you ever heard of Joan Liffring's Zug Beret. That's my mom.
David's mother was amazed by his work, despite the ongoing mental trauma of memory loss. After assisting in its publication, she would later say his book was a triumph for anyone facing a mental or physical handicap.
I have a keen mind for forgetting.
Guess that's a positive way to look at it. Yeah, your short-term memory is just really almost non-existent anymore. And
But I get by.
yeah, you get by. And we've figured out ways to deal with it. It is a frontal temporal lobe dementia, which is what the diagnosis has been. And there has been somewhat of a decline over the years.
The journey for David is ongoing. Since the book's release in 2012, his short-term memory continues to decline. He now resides at an assisted living facility in Iowa City, adorned with his favorite photos.
I think it's quite beautiful too. And it looks like little things playing in the water.
I think just going through what he went through made him see the world a little bit differently. Looking at these pictures makes me realize how incredibly special it is. And I've started looking at things a little bit differently when I go out in the woods. I mean, there certainly were dark times. We were in the dark times for quite a while. And for David, this helped you get out of those dark times. And really,
It's true, really did. Well, you have to have an outlet.
Yeah, and really discover and find something else
Yeah.
to help you fill your mind and to fill your day that you really enjoyed.
But Carol, his wife of more than 30 years, says David still yearns for day trips back to the Amanas, back to the mill race, and back to Lily Lake. Nestled along the edge of Lily Lake sits a bench marked in dedication to their son, tragically lost more than a decade ago. The first page of David's book has a similar message. He titled his favorite sunset, "In Memory of Jordan."